All right, all right. Let me see if I could invite my brother. Hold on 1 second. Peace, man. What's going on? What up, Sincere? You hot right on, brother.
Man,
Peace. What up, man?
what's up, brother?
Chill. Hold on 1 second. Let me just turn this sideways.
I gotta shave this beard.
Connection.
Yeah, it looked like you're doing one of those you're doing one of those verses from a different country. What's happening, brother? How's things?
So basically what this is another episode of Mindful Morning, which is a show that I'm trying to put together, and I want to show black people various kinds of spirituality that we can use in our day-to-day lives to help us get through these times. These times are crazy. So we need all the help we can get, mind, body, spirit. And for those of y'all who are watching, essentially what we have here is myself, Devin McCrory, founder of the Wellness Initiative, and a very wise, very intelligent brother by the name of Marlon Blackwood. Huh?
Too much, bro. Too much.
Too much. All right, well, but bottom line, I'll put it to y'all real brief. What we have here is two strong black men who love to talk and love to drop knowledge. And I want y'all to see the conversation that's going on between us. And I met Marlon through a mutual friend, and I found out that he is a real spiritual person. And I wanted him to come on, go and do a live with me, so we could basically give y'all some of the, or y'all can see for yourselves some of the knowledge this man has. And he's a brother who loves to talk. I love to talk.
I'll back it up with experience, man. I've been quiet my whole life.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So
what's real is real, though.
So first of all, what I want you to do is give everybody a basic idea of what you do, because I want you to promote your art studio as well.
Oh, okay. All right. Since on a spiritual tip, we'll go backwards and forward. I'm a level 3 Reiki master.
Right.
Basically, I got into it because I worked at the Department of Mental Health, and they're steering away from trying to restrain and medication, so they tried the holistic approach, to calm individuals down. And when I took it, I always thought that meditation was kind of like foolishness. For real. I thought it was like, you know what, you're being punished. Go sit in the corner. And when people used to say, go sit down and go think about what you did, that is huge as an adult. And I think that's why most people now aren't meditating. Because for me, I can accept guilt. And working for the Department of Mental Health, we have to differentiate between guilt and depression. You understand what I'm saying? Some people are guilty. We've done some stuff that some people haven't found out about, but the I in you know what you did. So, you know what I'm saying? So you're only going to torment yourself, but there are things that's happened to people that, we don't even want to discuss. And I've seen it from sexual abuse from kids, adult men, like, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are broken or were broken. But what I found through meditation was...
Hold on, brother. Can you angle your phone so we can see your whole face? I see like the top of your head is cut off. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, so my thing is, like, I try to do it 5 minutes a day. And when I first started taking it, Reiki, it was kind of like, all the hippie white folks was taking it. And I'm just like, oh, this is kind of whack. But what I've learned was a lot of people were searching for a sense of strength. And me, growing up inner city where I was fighting and thugging out, or even playing football or these aggressive sports, we're always taught to turn it on. No one taught us to turn it off. You know what I'm saying? And through meditation, I've learned there's an on and off switch for everybody. You just have to learn or to find your own sense of, or to gauge it, as I call it. So through Reiki, it was more or less like take the time to meditate and think about every move you're going to make. And some of us be like, yeah, I'm college educated. I grew up in the street. Like you're using your previous experience into your present experience, and that's where most of us go wrong. Instead of thinking about what every move we're going to make, especially as men of color. Like the whole world's out to get us. Like the whole world's out to agitate us. There's nothing in the world that's ever going to suit us right. But if we put our mind in a situation where I'm going to overcome everything that life throws at me, you're already in that position to not be defeated. You're not supposed to win this game. You know what I'm saying? You're just supposed to not lose. And the more and more I try to embody my own philosophy as far as brothers of color, they don't want to hear that because we hard, we tough, we don't hear that, man. But for me, I was that dude too. But now I'm not. Like I can let things go. I know what's really important. I know that family comes first. And what else I've learned about Reiki is that it'll teach us to be more Buddhist in our practice. And not to, dog anybody's religion or say, create a religion out of it, but studying Buddhism. Buddhism is a practice of behaving yourself. So when people are like, oh, Buddha and statues of Buddha, like everybody creates statues as a reminder of something. But if you internalize Buddhism, it's basically saying you are your God. Figure it out. You got yourself in this problem. You can get yourself out of it, but you need time to think. But we're also at a time where, our minds are hungry and our brain is greedy. There's signs and Instagram and Facebook. We don't have time to think anymore. You know what I'm saying? So we're just going off our basic instinct, and half the time we kind of screw that up. So I've learned to take 5 minutes in the morning to say, what am I going to do today? Let me think about it. Whatever pops up in my head, I let it happen. You know what I'm saying? Because there's going to be something that's going to pop up. Like, let's say you're having an argument with your girlfriend. Okay, and you're going to go see her now. If you don't take the time to think about that argument in your head and the role you're going to play when you guys are talking, you're going to go in there and you're going to be like, you know what? And then you're going to feel bad about what you said when you should have thought about what you said. And that's where most of us at our age are. Like, we don't think until after the fact. So I think for me, it becomes more like the principle of Buddhism is like, yo, you are the only God you need. And not to say there's no creator of the universe, there's nothing that, but you have to learn to save yourself. Because for us as people of color, we've been dependent on everybody to save us. We're the last person to think that's ever going to save us. Even now, we're like, oh, Joe Biden's going to start giving out. What were you doing during Corona? For the universe stopped. For me, the universe stopped. I drew hundreds of pictures. I've painted hundreds of pictures. So if I have an art show, I could put on 3 art shows with myself. And that's what I've done during Corona. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people. What have they done? And that's why I said, I've been watching you, brother. Like during Corona, you weren't slipping. Like, I'm not going to give everybody the validation of, like button, because a lot of people aren't serious about it. Everything is a hustle. And that's why I'm starting to hate that word. Because if you think about it, like you're trying to scam your own people. And when you're a black man in the business, it seems like your people kind of do that to you sometimes.
Sometimes, no doubt.
Yeah, but it's really a case of us learning to eat better, diet. Like the foods in our community is set up to kill us. It changes our behavior. If you learn about high fructose corn syrup, everything that we consume in our community, and I hate saying the black community, but where most black people live, it's bad for our health and it affects our attitude. And if you look at the news, it's like, yeah, Black Lives Matter and the cops kill another black man. Like this whole world is supposed to provoke you to wrath. But if you study some principles and not Buddha, but Buddha laid down some guidelines to prepare you for when people don't like you. Prepare you for this whole thing till you don't even have to interact. And I'm at the point where I'm watching karma happen in my generation as a black man. You know what I'm saying? Our great-grandparents are rolling over in their graves going, yes, because we're not at war and we're not going to get that negative karma of getting the white man back for what he did. He's doing it to himself. And all we have to do is respect one another, be more trustful to one another, because for us, we learned to distrust ourselves the way we were taught. No one trusts black people. Black people don't trust black people. We need to work on that and show each other more respect. I don't mean disrespecting white folks or the Asians or anybody. Show each other more respect when we see us. How you doing, brother? See, and that's why I like using brother and I don't like the word fam. Because the word brother was meaning something to anybody who was listening to our conversation. They would assume we're tight. Then it became cousin. Hey, what's up, cousin? They're still a little, but now it's like fam. What's the outside people hearing? They're not as tight as they seem. So if something happens to Devin, I don't have your back because you're fam. What part of fam? You could be the third cousin that nobody like. You see what I'm saying? So it's important that we start knowing these key words and key terms because we're educated.
Right. So you gave us a lot to go over, but I do want to go back and I want to start a little bit from the beginning. Now, you said that you're a level 3 Reiki master. Can you break down what Reiki is for those who might be uninitiated or unaware?
Okay, well, Reiki is a Japanese term for like energy medicine. It's like we all have energy inside of our body. And when we mean energy, I don't mean the battery style energy we do, but also if you see someone you care about, it's like, oh my God, or you embrace somebody you miss, that's the exchange of energy. So to be a Reiki master, you have to be somebody you're going to go through stuff. You have to stay optimistic all the time. You know what I mean? There's no way you're going to be like, hi, I'm Marlon, and everything's great. If I had to check myself, and remember Ice Cube song, check yourself before you wreck yourself? That's Reiki step 101. Before I can help you, I got to help myself. I can't be the angry black man trying to tell you, nah, be cool, be patient. I can't be the aggressive individual telling you to be cool, be patient. I have to work on those things. So now when I tell you, these are the things I've done for an aggressive individual to not become a little bit calmer. So it helps when you're telling people. It's not like I read it out of a book. You're like, yeah, and then on the third day, you're like, nah, it's basically like it'll come slowly but surely. You're going to be tested. And every time you don't get pissed off, you win. It's a simple philosophy. But it's also just knowing that the person who's a Reiki master is somebody who's been through some stuff. And the person you're with, they know it, but they're coming to you for confidence. And what you do is you don't, and I think like I got my minister, my family, my brother's a reverend, and we go at it a lot. Like for me, it's not me giving you any energy. It's me saying you got the power within you. Think about it. Fix yourself. Change it. You know how you got in a situation. Backtrack your steps through meditation, and then you'll be able to get out of it. You know, a lot of people go into therapy, and then you're going to therapists. I know a lot of therapists, and they crazy as hell. You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like a prerequisite sometimes.
Is it? Exactly. But you have to start to fix yourself. You know, we all have, you know, we all need to be fixed. And before we can go seek help for an injury, like, oh, I got to go to the hospital, like your parents said, let me see it first.
Yeah,
That's what we need to do to ourselves, because sometimes these things can be self-checked, but we don't. You know, we look for people to solve our issues, but when you solve your own issues, you become a tad bit stronger every day. So that's basically what it is. So if, like, for instance, and most men of color don't do it because of our egos, but females pretty much take into it because they have a lot to process. Being a woman in today's generation, being subjugated to the roles, the classes, a lot of things are on their mind. For us, why are we depressed? Ask yourself this question: why are men depressed?
Men are depressed simply because we are in a position where we can't express our full emotional range. We're holding back so much.
We don't want to. We don't want to.
We don't want to. We're taught not to, and also we're trained. That's letting go of a whole major part of who you are as a person. You're trained to be physical. You're trained to be aggressive. Trained to be decisive. So you can't never really look within yourself. We're being trained to always look out for who we got to beat up and conquer. We're not taught to look within ourselves.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Now let me ask this question. Why do you think it is that people are so afraid when we start talking about looking within ourselves for our own salvation?
Because we're lying. We're lying to ourselves. And social media makes it easy for us to lie on ourselves. We do it all the time. Oh, yeah, man, feeling real good. That's, you know what I'm saying? We do it a lot. Like, and then, you know, we talk about social media also, that people project the lifestyle that they're not living. Oh, look at my car. Look at my, you see what I'm saying? And then once you get off social media, you're back to being the same person.
That's true.
You know, so for us as men, it's our own ego we need to check. Sometimes we just need to just chill. And being chill, like we are so animate about being cool that we forgot how to chill. And I'm using those words. If you think about it, you can't be cool unless you learn how to chill. And for us, it's buying a pair of sneakers. Yeah, I'm cool now. Like, you would have been cool in flip-flops if you was always chilling.
That's true.
What I'm saying?
Yeah, so look at Ghostface Killer. Look at Ghostface Killer from the Who. He showed up with a robe on. Like, real chill.
Exactly.
I mean, everybody else got on the mink. He showed up with a robe on. Like, all right, let's do it.
Right. But we have to show off for each other. And I learned this, too, from growing up in the projects. And then when you think about it, these kids were wearing Jordans. And like I'm one of 6 kids, so there was no Jordans in my family growing up.
No, definitely not.
But understand that most of these kids, they're on, like, welfare. You see what I'm saying? I didn't know that back then. Where I'm like, Mom, I want some Jordans. Shit, like, you got 5 other brothers and sisters. You're not getting that. Go get a job. But all the same time, like, they're running around like, yeah, I got this Kango. You live right down the street from me. You see what I'm saying? Like, we all live in subsidized housing. Like, no, but as an adult, you think about it. And that's where I think most of us are still in that phase to where we don't want to look broke. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not broke spiritually. I may be broke financially. I'll take that over the other way around. So I don't get on social media and be like, hey, look, I got these headphones. Hey, check out these new Air Maxes. Like, No.
Mm.
So it's about us being better men. And I think that's what lost sight of this country. Like the women can get it together. Black women and white women, Puerto Ricans, y'all see what happened over last week. They can sit there and go, hey, for us, we will never do that. And that's the bigger problem. Like you and I, that's why I said I've been watching your stuff, brother. You know what I mean? And I'm a chime man. You know, your times are a little off from when I'm doing stuff, but I'm gonna make the time to do it. And again, a lot of people aren't serious. It's a hustle. And we need to stop that word. Because if you're like, yeah, I'm a hustler, why would I take your business seriously if you're using that word?
True.
See,
True.
so get out of that mindset. See, and that's why I said I've been watching you. You're not hustling. You're trying to deliver a message. You know what I'm saying? Whether they want to hear it or not, still deliver that message, plant the seed. And for me, it helped my business because now when I get to meditate, I'm like, what am I going to draw today? What am I going to paint today? So I'll knock out 3 or 4 pieces in a day while some people, oh, it took me 2 weeks to work on this. My girlfriend, I'm looking around. My girlfriend said, stop telling people that I knock things. Like if you see my artwork, that's done in like an hour or 2. I put on one mixtape CD and I knock it out, but that's the focus that I developed through meditation. See what I'm saying? I'm not like, but you also have to do what you're supposed to do as a man, as a father, as a boyfriend. So, like, look, I'm looking around because my girl's gone now. But as long as all my stuff is done between her, I can do whatever I want to do, and my mind's clear. You see what I'm saying? But that's also indicative of life as well. Like, do what you need to do so you can do what you have to do, or do what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. And quite often, a lot of times, what's happening within us is that there's all this turmoil inside of us, and that's why we can't achieve our goals and we can't get things done. Like you said, the guy who takes 2 weeks to get something done, it's because he's not focusing his mind because he's not addressing what's going on within him.
And he doesn't love it. Because I love what I do, and that's what I like. Seriously, when I started Reiki and meditation, I was working third shift restraining clients, right? You know, people losing their shit. And then I started drawing. And those same clients that were losing it, that I wouldn't have to restrain anymore because I'm drawing on a chalkboard. I'm drawing Deputy Dog. I'm drawing stuff. And these same psychotic clients come up and like, oh, I remember that from when I was a kid. See, now it brings them back to a calmer time, a better time. So now they became my best friends. And I realized the power of art to where, for me, most black artists, like, I don't do the JJ art. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you see my stuff is real. But also, I've donated to community entities that during Corona. Like a lot of us are like, gotta get money. I could say, here you go. Here's a painting worth $300, and they have their online whatever. And that's how they're raising money. So I've also been helping out different communities that I don't live in, for people who don't like me, but whatever. But I'm donating to the shelters. I'm donating to the hospitals. You know what I'm saying? I'm donating gloves and PPE equipment, all from just the art. And it really wasn't about the money, because if you love what you do, you will be able to knock out a bunch of them and not think twice about it.
Right.
And that's how I feel like I'm giving back through the meditation that helps me to think and process, especially during this time, like everybody's ready to jump out the window. I can bring you down to my basement and show you all the artwork I've done, because I'm not flipping out. I see you stuff
online, bro. I know you stay busy with it.
Yeah, but I don't watch TV because now it's like a matter of another thing that's distracting us. The television. We're going to watch the same thing over and over again.
Exactly.
Or you and I going to get together and be like, hey, guess what? LeBron scored 42 points. He made $62 million. Yo, that's a waste of time, bro.
It is. I don't even watch sports.
But how am I helping you and your business grow by doing that? And these are some things that I'm saying I'm losing friends doing that, because your mindset is still, I want to be that dude from high school. I wasn't that dude in high school. I'm that dude now. Right. And that's what we need to be like. But we're not helping our community. We're not helping one another without trying to get over on one another. And me as owning my own business, I see that more from people of color. Like, oh yeah, I like that. I'll send you the money in like 2 weeks. Like, who does that? Why would you do that to anybody else? Why would you do that to us? But for me, I'm going to pay full price because I know if it's good quality and you're a man or brother of color, that's what I'm going to spend.
Right.
It comes down to, for us though, to meditate more, because our eating habits are terrible. And for me, I was almost 300 pounds at my heaviest, and now at my lightest, I was 215. You know, I just won this little war for being like, you know, I started eating right, meaning, you know, I saw a dietitian, and that changed how you think, because we are eating foods that's not good for us. We're eating foods that, when was the last time you ate a whole salad and that's it?
Probably 2 days ago. I recently changed my diet too. I had to.
Yeah, but see, and that's what I'm saying. For most of us, we shouldn't get to the point where we have to because we're forced to, and that's when we already have health issues. And it's too late to try to reverse those. So for me, I was just a fat boy. But I started walking every day. And that's the thing. I don't I hurt my back at work, so I can't jog, I can't lift weights, but I walk every day, 2 miles, 3 miles, do some pull-ups. I do my yoga every day, to keep my body flexible and loose. But the meditation is so important. It's so important because the world is starting over. And you see a lot of people, and I like what you do, is because now we're in a new world order, you're on the forefront of this viral meditation stuff, while everybody else is waiting for these government contracts to be held out. You watch for it. Watch all the pastors and stuff come out and try to steal your shine now, brother, because now there's contracts out to help the community. You're doing it for free.
Indeed.
That's what we learned in college. We learned how to be white-collar criminals, but we chose not to. You think about it. You could have ripped a lot of people off, but you're an honest person. You know what I'm saying? But it's slow and steady is going to win this race, especially now when it's the time of spiritualism, because we had a president that held the Bible up. That obviously we know that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And as men of color, I'm going to be real. We're online. Why are we worshiping any religion? Why?
Right.
Everybody that we are under their religious umbrella has enslaved us. Every single person, except the Jews. So why aren't we Hebrew? Or
so let's ask this question real quick, because you used a phrase earlier. You said we are the only God that we need. Why do you think so many black people are afraid of that concept? Is it because
they're the devil? You have to understand the kingdom of God is in every man, and so is the devil. That's what you cultivate in your life. Like, you probably cultivate goodness throughout your life. Things didn't go your way because you weren't one of those dudes. Now here you are at this point trying to help people for nothing. Then there are people that won't help people and robbing them. So I think it's a matter of they know the type of person they are in their spirit. And a lot of people, you see it in church. Religion gives you the guides on how to be a good person. Just smile, wave, don't drink, don't smoke. You know what I'm saying? But what's going to happen when you hear of somebody that needs you? Oh my God, he's sick. Do you feel like in your spirit, like, I need to go help him? I wish I could do something. Or you'd be like, oh man, that's too bad. I'll just go pray for him.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and that's why it's not working for us.
Yeah, that fixation on prayer without action, I think, is one of the most destructive things in the community.
Yeah, that is, because first of all, Jesus ain't real. That's why it's so destructive. That's just my opinion. And me being a college-educated man, I'm sorry. Well, let's go back and we can look, but that's why we're so distracted on who God really is, because we don't know. And people tell us, it ain't you. What it really is. You're the boss of your boat. You want to lose some weight, lose some weight. And if you think about our people when we came here as slaves, they didn't want to give us education. We learned anyway. Who does that? See what I'm saying? They gave us the worst kind of food to eat, but we still made delicatessens. Couldn't get the word out, even though those foods are bad for us now, but that's what they gave us. You see what I'm saying? But we have to understand that the God is within every man, whether white or black. That's just to me. But for us, we're physically stronger, and we're just as smart. What's our problem?
Now,
everybody else knows.
Yeah, how would an individual who grew up in the hood, been eating the wrong food their whole life, been engaged in acts of violence, been incarcerated, hasn't been reading and studying, what's the first step to bring out that inner God that's within them?
Yeah, you got to want to change for the better. And the situation can't be, oh man, I got locked up, man, I'm gonna do better. I got this chick pregnant, I'm gonna do better. No, you have to sit around when you're by yourself and be like, yo, I don't like how I'm living. It's kind of like when you're heavy, you look in the mirror and be like, yo, I don't like how I'm looking. It's the same thing. You can wait for baby to be like, yo, man, you fat. You're still not going to work out until you look in the mirror and be like, yo, I don't like the way I'm looking. So when you get to a point where you can see yourself or how you want to see yourself, that's when you'll change, because you can read all the books you want to and talk to all the people you want to, but it's an inner thing. And also, like, not many of us are going to do it. There's one general and many soldiers. So don't expect everybody to be enlightened, everybody to be awake. And you could go talk to somebody and just be like, all right, you don't get it. I'm just going to head out right now. But they'll probably get it in their own time.
Now, it's amazing that you can stay as calm as you are discussing it, because I could tell you've been through some things and you learned a lot. Because when I first started getting a little bit of knowledge, I was in a constant state of almost like urgent panic, because I felt like I have to get this to everybody. I have to plant the seed. I have to see the seed grow. How did you become so calm at the idea of teaching and making sure people get the message, and now you can just accept whatever happens? How did you make that transformation?
It's funny you say that, though. I got that like that when I realized no one's listening. When you realize no one listens, like unless I'm throwing up my caddy on, polished up, or throw some sneakers on, that's when they listen because it's something about what was in tune in us. You know what I mean? So for me, I just kept living my own truth because I was a younger kid. I was the slowest kid. I was a fat kid. I wasn't that dude out on the block. I wasn't the best athlete, but when I think about it, I'm the only person in my neighborhood that went to college and played football. The only person that I grew up with that graduated, finished school. Like, you know what I'm saying? So as you got along, it took some time for you to understand who you are before you could tell people how to be. And again, my brother's a reverend, and he was not a good person growing up. So how would he be so loving and so caring? But that's because of the words he's practiced to read. So for me, I've always been, I guess, that person that would help you, but I would also learn how to handle my stuff when I needed to. Some people were just pure wicked, and there's some people who, you have to be that way because of where you live. So you have to, I was just, I guess, blessed to be one of those people, where I had two sisters that I had to look out for, but, I wasn't out there fighting and thugging, but just don't mess with me and my family. And you still have to create that certain image in order to get through that. And then when I went to college, I'm like, you know what, there's no need to be acting like this anymore. Then I get around a bunch of people who are acting like they're from the street. Wait, y'all got mothers and fathers, nice homes. You got your own bedroom y'all been living in for your whole lives, but why are you acting this way? So for me, that's what I'm like, you know what, I'm done. I just have to be the guy to say, outlive everybody, and as time goes on, they'll be like, oh, you lost weight. Oh, you go back to school. Oh, the art stuff is going great. You see all the progressions that's happening? That's what happened when I focus on myself, because a lot of us are out to reach everybody. You got to just reach yourself, and you got to just be the example, because people who know you, there's two ways to it. They either go like, you look at this guy, look at all slim now, look at him trying to get on Instagram, or they're going to be like, wow, that's Devin. He's actually doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? But regardless of who's saying what, you have to be steady and straight with what you're doing. If this is your mission, I don't care if nobody's in the gym, you still got to shoot. You understand what I'm saying? You still got a game to play. And that's for me, like, I know the truth within myself. And I see people who follow different religions, whatever, and they still go to them strip clubs. They're still posting alcohol stuff and Henny. Like, wait a minute, how you gonna post Jesus stuff on Sunday and we're just posting Henny stuff on Thursday? I just don't post any of that stuff. So no one really knows,
Were you ever I was gonna ask you, were you ever in a state where you felt kind of a state of despair, looking at what's happening in our community, and you see so many people working hard trying to reach the people, nobody's listening, it seems like nothing. No. Have you ever had a moment where you was like, I'm just done with you motherfuckers?
No, I'm there now. I'm really there now. But that don't stop me from, you see me, I'm still on social media, but I don't care if you don't hit the like button.
Right.
I don't care. You know what? But what's happened is, like, I grew up in a neighborhood where I thought everybody's going to support the kid that's like, yeah, you're the only one going to college? That ain't the case, brother, because I was that one. And they're still out there sweating dudes. I'll be like, yo, you went to jail, now you found Jesus? I'm like, okay, but y'all go support him. You know what I'm saying? He probably needed it more than me, but for me, it's just, I know where I am with myself. You know what I'm saying? I know that me and my girl is good. Me and my daughter is good. There's certain way that expectations they have out of me that I know that I'm meeting. Instead of like most black men or men, they try to meet the expectations of their friends. I don't care what they think right now. You know what I'm saying? And because for me, everything is right in my world. Everything is going at the pace it's supposed to go for me. And it took some time. And it's like, it's a sync. Because don't just think that, I'm going to make this wish and it's going to happen immediately. You have to be consistent in your thinking every day. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to meditate today. Nope, I'm not going to let that bother me. It's every single day. And you don't have to yell out. And I don't want to disrespect anybody who's watching, whatever. Like, Jesus, you don't have to do that. Buddha, you don't have to do that. Like with the Reiki class, and I skipped through faster than everybody else because they thought I had more power, which I thought was stupid. But what it was like, I'm a kid. Could I say I was a hood nigga? So what they felt was that strong presence.
Keep it real. Let it all out.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just saying, this is your show. It was mine. Yeah, but when I walk in there with a bunch of old white people that's been through a drug rehab program or their husband beat them and left them, see, they're coming from a position of weakness to find strength. I come in and be, look, I'm tired of ready to punch people in the face. I'm tired of ready to, choking people out. Like, yo, I don't want to feel like this. But see, mine was different. But now I realize, like, you don't have to. They're just not going to mess with you. Right. You also have to embody strength and power, not in just the way you dress, the way you act. Because all your boys can love you, but the woman in your house could be like, yo, he ain't shit.
Right.
And that's where I said most of my friends are, and I ain't trying to be like that. My girl was behind me bothering me, and at least she tells me I'm the man every day, but I try to be that, at least for her. And then I get
Right.
on Facebook, she's like, look at you. I'm like, yeah, that's your fault. You made me that way. No, but it comes down to, like, again, like we said, like we got to want better for ourselves. And we're at a time now, believe it or not, this is our time. We had Obama. Obama was the bell. Bing, 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 bing. Trump was the Armageddon. You know what I'm saying? You know, the revelation in the Bible, the Antichrist was going to come, and anybody who followed him, see it. But what you were doing during Corona is going to put you in a position above everybody else. They're not going to like that. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, I think I'm the toughest artist in Connecticut. You know what I'm saying? And I just started 3 years ago.
Right.
So what do you think these people who've been doing it for 10 years, who went to Syracuse University and had this stuff in these, that's what I say. But you have to be ready for that. As long as the hate ain't coming from you, let it come from them. But don't walk in life and think that you're doing something positive and everybody's going to love it. Expect people to not like it because the enemy is out there. You know what I'm saying? And we see it within our community. What happens to the one brother who's going to college? We see it on TV. He always gets shot around, like every movie. You see what I'm saying? That's why I feel myself blessed because I was that one brother and I didn't get shot. I didn't get locked up. I dodged a few bullets, metaphorically. You know what I'm saying? And I'm good to where I done took the police academy test. I failed because of my back. I quit. But my fingerprints are clean. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we had to do at a certain time because when it's time for us to take over, they're going to look through your records, Devin. You understand what I'm saying? When it's time for you to be the man, they're going to be like, yeah, remember in 7th grade? So for me, the statute of limitations for me doing dumb shit has long been over. And that's why I can talk from a position of power. Because, look, I don't owe no child support. You see what I'm saying? None of that. But you have to go through all that phase. And a lot of people now, especially men of color, they'll dig stuff up on you. You know what I'm saying? Because for us, we have to be very careful when we're trying to be these leaders. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm like, I wouldn't want to lead nobody. You see what happened to Martin? Malcolm? No way. They mess with y'all.
They start digging up stuff. They start digging up your ex-girlfriends and, oh, Lord.
Yeah, but the good thing is when you're always yourself, they have nothing on you. And that's why, like, for me, imagine if I'd have been like, I love Jesus. And then they'd be like, yeah, Marlon, remember that time they would have brought all this stuff up. But the fact that they know I'm, like, talking shit, and they have nothing. I just don't do nothing but talk shit.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, man, you brought up a lot of stuff that I want to address. One of the things I want to address is your beliefs on spiritual value. Now, we were talking about Christianity and the church, and you're putting us on the church. Who do you think Jesus was? Where do you think Jesus came from? I want to talk about that. And I also want to talk about you're speaking and you feel like you're coming from a position of power. So a lot of black folks who are uncomfortable with that. When they get in positions of power, they self-sabotage.
Because it's not true.
Right.
See, the self-sabotaging comes because they don't believe in what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And I attribute that to art. Like, if I love what I'm doing, I can draw all day. If I love what I'm doing, I'm the worst critic on my own artwork than anybody. No one can be like, oh, her eyes are off. I show my girlfriend and stuff 30 times before, how's that look? Because I'm my worst critic, and you have to be that. You know what I'm saying? You have to check yourself before you wreck yourself. You know? But a lot of people can't do that because we still trying to keep that image of, I don't know what type of person he was in high school, but everybody's like that Al Bundy right now. And we're at the age group to is like, oh man, you see it on Facebook? Yeah, the high school memory of me shooting baskets. That was like 20 years ago.
Yeah,
but you see, we have no future when we do that. And they're showing you that. That's why you can't reach those people. They'll sit there and be like, yeah, Dr. Sebi. Remember that Dr. Sebi stuff? Everybody who's posting some Dr. Sebi stuff look fat as hell right now during Corona. During a time where you should be taking care of your health. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I'm looking at all this stuff to where I pay people no mind. As far as I'll go back to the Jesus stuff. Like, I grew up in a church, right? My brother's a reverend, my mother's a mother in the church. And I used to get in trouble a lot. So the punishment was to always read the Bible. They fucked up because I read it from the first page to the last page. Right. So when you read the Bible, and most religious people never done that. They'll skip around. See, how could you read a book and get the full understanding? Go to Psalms, then go back to Ezekiel, then go to Revelation. Now, what you have it is the pastor knows certain verses that he's got you out of the game. You understand what I'm saying? So when you read the whole thing, you'd be like, you know what? We should have followed what the Jews were doing, and we would have been straight. If we'd have followed the Old Testament throughout, we would have been straight. Trust nobody. A man slap you, you slap him back. He didn't say go around slapping people. See what I'm saying? But Jesus told you to turn the other cheek. And now we know from going to college, that was attributed to the slaves. So when they created the New Testament, They were giving it out to all the countries that they were trying to invade and enslave. Don't worry, don't fight us back. God will take care of it.
Yep, yep.
But it didn't work like that with the Jews. The Jews would be like, we chopping everybody up. See, that's what I'm saying. So for us to be following Muhammad, later, babe, for Muhammad, and that's just me. Like, they had slaves too. It was the Muslims who showed the white man where the blacks were. So if you really study, like I study my history, and I'm like, I was right the whole time. So I don't follow anybody. You know what I'm saying? I follow Buddhist practices because that's the only one that says God is in you and you have the ability to change the world. The rest of them are just that. Follow this tradition, eat this meal, don't eat pork, blah, blah, blah. You see, these are certain things. Follow these traditions. Oh, it's Christmas, the 25th. Really? Was Jesus born on the 25th? Do we really know that now? Like, where's Jesus' bones? Where's his burial? Where's his... You see what I'm saying? There's too many questions, and we're still, like, the number one advocators for it. Trump sat up there, well, the old president, with an empty Bible in front of an empty church, and everybody's like, that shit ain't real, bro. What's real is you're the God. Because before the Bible, how did we build those temples? How? What were we worshiping millions of years before that? But my thing was, they didn't enslave us, we enslaved ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And I watch how we do it now, that instead of us helping each other out, we put ourselves in debt with the man, and the man would be like, so how are you going to pay it off? Oh, I know this guy who does this podcast. There you go. So we did it to ourselves. We're too big. We're too strong. And that's how I look at it as men of color. We need to get our shit together and stop looking for handouts. Like, I got friends that I can't even be friends with them. You've known me for 30 years and I've never taken a handout. No, the government's giving out grants and loans. I'm not taking any loans from them. I've been in business 3 years and never had to ask anybody for nothing. You see what I'm saying? And it's all that inner God that says, don't quit. That's it. Like, for your thing. And I was watching, just go up there even if no one watches, bro. No one's supposed to watch for a while because they're trying to check your consistency. See what I'm saying? You remain consistent. Remember we talked about you remain consistent. They're going to come. And the ones that don't listen, like, you know what? They wasn't trying to listen to you anyway.
True indeed, brother. True indeed.
So that's just me. And so I'll go back to Jesus thing. I mean, I digress, but that's just my personal feeling. If you go and look it up, I'm an art buff. I've been in plenty of places. There's no historical evidence of any of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely none. If we as people of color study Buddhism, we would know that we have the potential to be our own gods and take care of our own selves. We would eat. He would say, eat right. You can eat whatever you want to, but don't overindulge. You know what I'm saying? Like and if you look at Christianity, that's the unhealthiest of all the religions. Did you know that?
Why do you think that? Break that down. Because
they have no eating guidelines. See the Jews and the Muslims are like, oh, we don't eat pork. We don't eat this. For us, pour some salt. So for us, and now look at us. Look at the church, how everybody fat.
Everybody fat, wrists and ankles swollen, can barely breathe. That diet.
Exactly. That diet. You know, and then we can't get to the point where now we see the doctors like, yo, it's too late. You're going to scream for Jesus to help you? No, see there's God inside every man, and there's it's a poet, Tolstoy, I think his name was, and he said the kingdom of God is within. And you meditate on that, there's so many things you're going to be capable of doing. I never thought I'd be able to start an art business. I've been drawing since I was a little kid. I thought, I'm going to play football. I'm going to play baseball. I'm not doing any of that now. But I know that I will be on a drawing table for 14 hours. You know what I'm saying? Because I like it. You know, I love it. I know that I'm doing okay. I got, how not too many black people could say they have white people buying their stuff. I have more white people buying my art than black people because I don't draw it with the big lips and the big nose. Like, if I do something, you see it, it's realism. And most of us don't do that. Most of us are painting, and this goes back to us again. We're doing stuff, no matter how we act pro-black, we're doing stuff to appease them. Look at our artwork. Artwork is back from the 60s. And that was a time where everybody like fight the power, had this afros. But that's when we were buying art from each other. Why are we still doing that? Where's our evolution? Now, if you studied art, the things that sell are landscapes. How come we're not painting landscape? How come we're not painting animals? We're painting titties, lips, and sexualized images. That's what they liked back in the 60s. And that's why we don't see any of that stuff. And then there's another thing. We're like, oh, but Squad, he's a great artist. Do you know what type of person he was? But he used to sell his booty for artwork. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about, the depth of the human being, to where a lot of black artists have become characters in order to sell their artwork. And that's why I got beef with a lot of them, because I'm not doing that. Right. You know, Marlon be wilding, but he's nice. He's good at what he does. I prefer that. You know, you're going to hear KRS-One or NWA playing, but I'm not going to wear my grandmother's clothes wrapped in my head. And you understand what I'm saying? Or act like I'm Jamaican, right? And 100%. I'm not going to say, yeah, man, you know, let's smoke ganja, man, and pin. Like, really? Show the evolution. Show them how to evolve, because that's our job. Right. You know what I'm saying? We taught them how to drive. We taught them how to walk. We taught them how to wash their ass. We're teaching them everything. So why are we going around to try to please them, especially? And it's not a bad thing, but how we go about doing it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's why I say, like, I think I have the advantage, because you look in my closet, I don't wear my grandmother's clothes at any of my art shows. You're going to see either this or, you know, how we met.
Right,
but this is the people, and it's crazy that now, like, when I deal with art buyers or other art people who run stuff, they see me as equal, or I'm out. Mm-hmm. When they talk to me, it's sir. It's not like I'm like, hi, I'm Marlon, I'm an artist, and I'm gonna, like, nah, there's too many of you guys doing that. You know what I'm saying? Right. I got the skill, I got the talent, and I'm college educated to run my own business. How can I help you? See what I'm saying? Now they're at a point where I don't know if they're used to it, because so many black people will be like, oh yeah, I'll do anything to sell my art. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
So, and I think that came with the meditation, and your confidence in whatever you do is going to rise the more and more you meditate. It's going to say, yo, Devin, keep doing that podcast. Maybe you do it on Thursday. You know, right now people aren't working and they won't be able to see it. You see what I'm saying? There's something that's going to come every time you meditate, and it doesn't always have to be what you want it, but you got to sit there and wait for that answer. And once you get it, you're going to have another question.
Exactly. So I want to talk to you a little bit about creativity. And creativity actually being a tool where that can help you tap into that inner God. I want to talk to you about the connection between creativity and spirituality. Do you feel like there is a connection, and how do you use creativity?
Absolutely. Because don't think anything just comes from nothing. Like, influence comes from your thought. Like, if you think positive thoughts, you're always going to come up with something. And that's why it's important to be optimistic all the time. So when you're in a bad situation, you can be like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? While you're doing that, you'd be like, you know what? How am I going to do this? How am I going to handle this? There's two ways to approach every issue. But most of us are so like, oh my God, what am I going to do? God is not going to help you. But the God will help you. But that's you helping yourself, because, again, I know how I stepped into this rat trap. So I got to take my time and not panic and realize, how did I get in here? And how do I back out? And that's how it works. Like, you know what I mean? And most of us are running to our spiritual elders or spiritual guys. They don't know you. And that's the one thing with Reiki. Like, you could tell me stuff about your life. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But you're going to want to. And I'm not saying I don't care, because we're so used to saying, it all started when I was 5 and my dad. I'm over here like this. Yeah, you're fucking 40 now. You see what I'm saying? That's not going to be a therapist.
Right.
That's how we are.
We can check our own narrative,
Yeah, but we need to man up in our own lives. And that's what I'm saying as far as men, because it's hard for women to look up to us now. I have sisters, and I talk about their husbands like they ain't shit, because they're not. You know what I'm saying? Because my sisters are the hard workers. Like, would you let your wife go out and work 2 jobs while you're home playing video games?
Never.
Nah.
Never.
So
never.
It's I don't know. For me, I'm glad I found that, because I just let things go. And I'm at the point in my life now where I'm almost 50 years old. Like, what am I arguing with? Like, everything I need to know is within me already. You know, and it's the one thing you loved as a kid is going to be a thing that's going to make you happy when you get old. You realize you went to college for nothing. I did.
True.
You know, I mean, I met some good people, right? But again, I told you, I learned how to be a white collar criminal. You know what I'm saying? That's what I learned. I realized that was I happy with what I was doing? No. I was working third shift in a psych ward. Oh yeah, let's go restrain some psychotic individuals. Like, nah. But when I started drawing on a chalkboard, and all of a sudden at 2 o'clock in the morning, they're getting up, sitting behind me, like thinking you're gonna stab me. No, they're over here watching me draw on the board. So there's a lot of things I've learned from them, you know, about myself from just being in that facility. And I think we can learn a lot about ourselves if we took the time to even just interact with other people, whether it's positive or negative. You'd be like, I ain't doing no shit like that. You know, I don't roll like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not being judgmental. It's like, I don't know.
So let me ask you, you said that over the years you began to learn things about yourself. What was like the hardest thing about yourself that was like hard to face and hard to admit to that was within you?
Oh, that could be a dick sometimes. That's the thing. Like you'd be like, nah, I just state my opinion. And sometimes you're just being a dick. Like not everything needs to be said. Even if you're angry, you know what I mean? Like, and I've learned that silence is like this is important. You know, because for us, it'd be like, nah, I need to tell them off. I need to, you know what? You don't need to, because now I believe in karma, and that's why I believe it so strongly that I don't really fuck with anybody. You know why? Like, for instance, if I didn't like you, I'd be like, man, I hope this show don't work. You know what? You know how karma works?
Right,
My
right.
stuff isn't going to work. So if you don't like a person, it's best to just wish them well and just keep about your thought process. You see what I'm saying? You can have your opinion, but it really doesn't matter, because if you think about it, you're still going to want that karma. So, I mean, for me, that's probably why I started donating some of my artwork, because, look, I done said some things, like, you know what I mean, again, in this point in time, and that's why I do my giving back, because, again, it's karma. I've said things, I've done things, but now, you know what, let me just give back to some people, because you can't find everybody in your life that you need to apologize to. So, but you put it out to the universe that, you know what, I'm working on being a better person from this point on. I don't know what everybody think about 10 years ago, whatever, but right now that's just me. You know?
Is that a way, or is there a way to cleanse your karma? Let's say you did wish something bad would happen to somebody else, or you did give somebody energy.
You are gonna get it. Okay? You're gonna get it. And that's how karma works. It doesn't skip you, man. But once you hit that karma and that karma hits you back, the negative karma. But there's also two sides of karma. There's good karma. So when you do good, you get good in return. A lot of people don't understand that. They only think of karma as bad. It's like a two-sided coin. So if you do somebody wrong, you're gonna get caught. That's how it works. No one cheats and gets away with it, especially now in the information age. There's cameras everywhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? And there's even body language. Look, if you're like cheating on your girl, she's like, "Are you cheating on me?" You'd be like this. Look at your eyes. If you study body language, she know you're lying. See what I'm saying? So, Corona, again, gave us the time for us spiritual people to say, I'm stuck in the house with this woman 24 hours a day, and I don't even want to. We're still good. See what I'm saying? We're still, I'm doing way more shopping and way too much laundry. Something going on, but but I'm just saying it's the time gave us time to know ourselves, to realize that, I could be a dick, but now I'm not. I'm trying not to be. You know what I'm saying? And watch all them stupid shows that she watched. Be like, oh, is that another show we're watching? But but you have to go through that experience, and again, you got to let that karma hit you. And once that karma hits you, you got to know what you're getting your ass beat for. And it's just like your parent, like you, when your father comes home, you be like, oh snap! Once you get that ass up and cry, go to bed, and get up, you be like, don't get caught again.
Yeah.
But that's what it's like. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people think karma is like, it's just all bad things. If you do good for people, you're not going to necessarily get it bad in return. I mean, get good in return right away, but you never know. You'd be like, oh my God, I'm blessed. Oh, what happened? Like, you know what I'm saying? I know where some good opportunities will happen for you. And it's going to be because you put goodness out there. You know? Especially now we need it.
A lot of what you're saying is an expression of internal locus of control, that we have the power to guide our own destiny. Do you believe that there is an external destiny that we're all born with, that some of us are born to a particular fate, that some of us are born for a particular path, and that there's fate? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I believe fate. I think sometimes fate puts us on a path, but as we get older, we could choose to get off that path. Because again, if your parents were on drugs and whatever, like there's not too much chance in the world for you. But if you're like, that's not going to be me, it's not going to be easy. You know that they're not going to help you with your homework. You know they're not going to bring you to college courses. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not going to be easy, but it's doable.
Right.
And especially for us, and that's why I used to, like we are gods. And never mind the religious stuff, because we as people of color have it harder than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? We could have a college degree and still wouldn't get the job.
Right.
But is that going to deter you from, I wish I never would have went to college? Hell no, go draw some pictures. There's something inside you that's going to make you some money other than the thing you went to college for. Because I went to college and be like, yeah, sociology, I'm going to go help people. Like, yeah, right. I've been locking people up goddamn 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Some of these people need to be locked up. It's like it's hard to have compassion, especially when they deserve to be there. So, but not all of them did. And I said, like, when I started drawing on the board, you find the ones that didn't deserve to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why I learned that sometimes some bad things happen to good people. But there's also good people there that have to recognize that certain bad things happen to good people, be there to help them. They'll be like, oh man, he's on drugs, I ain't fucking with him. Like, no, I know some really good drug addicts. I know people with their doctors that I can't stand.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where it comes down to, my brother. So
Gotcha. Yeah. So within the next, actually, let's shift gears for a second. I want to talk to you about your art business. Let the people know the name of your business. Let people know the name of your business. You've been doing a lot of really good things. You mentioned it real briefly, but this is the moment where I really want you to really sing your own praises because you do a lot of positive things.
Yeah, I can't do that, brother. It's hard. I tried that, and once you again, like I'm a lot of people like, yeah, I'm a black man. I started a black business. Like, what you started for? You understand what I'm saying? You started just to be saying that shit. I did, and I ain't gonna lie. That's why I said my karma is good. After a while, you're like, yo, I owe something to my people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I know way too many black artists that'll dance, and I'm not disrespecting any other race, any other color. I'm talking about us. We would dance like Michael Jackson to be in these white shows.
Right.
We would, you know what I'm saying? So I decided to say, I'm going to put on my own art shows, not just for me, but for other artists. So I go and find other artists and say, hey, join my show. But what helps for us is that we put on our shows in suburban areas. So a lot of people of color, they be like, yeah, I got an art show. I'm like, nigga, I ain't going to Waterbury 10 o'clock at night. You crazy? I drive a Cadillac, son. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's what we do. And it's become so tribal to where all your followers are your friends. My followers aren't my friends. My friends don't even like me. But I got followers that I've never met before all over the world. So I have an obligation to them because they didn't think that people of color could draw like that, paint like that, and do all those things. And then I did the comedy art auction, and I think I talked to you about, like, no one thought outside the box because every artist is like, oh, I take pictures, come to my art show and eat up my food. I'm not doing that. Right. My thing was, all right, let's have a good night out for us, because after a certain age, we want to go out and look nice and dress up nice with our dates and have a nice dinner and stuff. And that's what the comedy art auction was, to where it was lined up with 4 comedians in rotation, like, and then we just auction out the artwork to give us a sense of culture. So for me, starting that, it's about the culture, and a lot of us aren't doing cultural work. We're doing work to get money, and I saw it with AAU. If you like, I hate that with a passion.
What's the AAU?
You know, when they have these kids out, like, for playing basketball. It's a scam. It's a scam. Because, you know, first of all, you charge each kid $700 to go play basketball. And then you got them on the corner of main streets, you know, picking up money. What are you doing to a project kid showing him about hanging out on the corner getting money?
Right,
I was that kid, so I see it. They don't see it yet. You see what I'm saying? So for me, when these young black kids see me and see how you own your own art company, I'm like, yeah, it's online, but they don't care. It's a fact of ownership. And then when you show them your work, it's like, oh, and you're nice? It's like, you know what? You can do whatever you want to do, kid. And it doesn't have to be football. It doesn't have to be sports, you know? And I just bought Jay-Z's book, you know, the other day. And it's amazing. Like, a lot of people don't follow what he says, but he's a street dude. And I'm going to use it. He's a street nigga. He didn't go to college. See what I'm saying? But he used his skill as a hustler, and that's how I like my art. It's like my hustle. I had to stand out in certain corners. I had to put myself out there. You know what I'm saying? But the stuff you read or would read in his book is basically saying you have to cut everybody off, and you have to stick to your grind. The ones that want to grind with you will come and grind with you. And where we fail is that, nah, ain't nobody rocking with me, man. Let me just go back to. And that's where he messed up, because he was on some mixtape of Big Daddy Kane. And then he didn't think he was going to be famous, so he said, I'm going to go back out on the streets and start selling drugs. Then they started talking about this kid that was on Big Daddy Kane's tape, which happened to be him. He started to take it more seriously, but he lost years in the game because he thought this wasn't what he wanted to do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's deep, man. It's like, you know, watching them, it's like, damn, you don't have to go to college to be successful.
Right.
That's what we thought. Right. And then we go to college, and I'm going to get a work at social work. No money. Teachers, no money. Yeah. Why do we do that? Why do we go to college and become doctors or, you know, the high-paying professionals? We go there and become community activists.
Yeah, and you can do that for free.
And you can do that for free.
You ain't got to do
it, man.
Yeah.
I'm all done.
I feel you, man. So tell me about some of your meditation experiences. You ever had like any interesting out-of-body meditation experiences?
All the time. You have them all the time. You're going to think you're having seizures in the bed, you know? But it's the matter of, like, when you meditate, like, you have to get to the point where you're almost about to fall asleep, and then you got to catch yourself. But some of it is frightening because a lot of us, we don't want to accept that we were wrong in a certain situation. You know, if I had an argument with somebody and I was wrong, my conscience will bother me. That's what happens when you meditate. And when they say, let your conscience be your guide, mine is my guide right now. You know, so if I said something wrong to somebody, I know that if I go lay down and I feel messed up tonight, I have to apologize tomorrow. Yeah, it doesn't work for everybody, though.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Some people need that heat, but not everybody deserves your response to whatever it is it was. And you got to know within yourself when you're wrong before somebody else tells you. That's like you got to know within yourself that I want to get healthy before the doctor tells you. Because when he tells you, it's almost too late.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. So what meditation techniques do you use? And
mine is just the stillness and mindfulness. And I keep in mind that I don't like the guided stuff because, again, that's somebody else's voice and they're dictating your thought process. I mean, some people might like that, but for me, I let you think whatever you want, you know, because, and for instance, let's say my business, when I started meditation, that just kept coming up. I wasn't trying to think of it. It just kept coming up. Art shows. It's like, what the hell, man? Can I think about something else? You know what I'm saying? Can I put something else on here? But it kept coming back to the point, and now it's like the things I do is natural. People think I got a whole team of people helping me out putting this stuff together. No, this is me and my girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? When I do these events, we're like, oh, who helped you coordinate this event? I'm like, my girlfriend. You see what I'm saying? But we're all on the same page when it comes to that because she knows from being around me that I'm not full of shit. That's why it works. You know what I'm saying? I could be, oh yeah, I'm gonna take meditation and be like, woman, get in here. What'd I say? Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? We don't roll like that. So when, you know, that's why I think for me, the art stuff works because my partner or that I have doing it is somebody who believes that what I'm doing. Because she's the one who, when we first started dating, was like, what is this? And she picked up a picture of, I think it was Marvin Gaye I had wrinkled up on the floor. And she's like, yo, this is amazing. I'm like, man, I do shit like this all the time. So what's up? Like, yeah, what's up? We gotta hook up. And then next thing you know, we're like going over business plans and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, but we're so ahead of the game and when we do things now, it's like we just can't wait for Corona to be, for the state to open. We're not gonna do anything now because we don't want to jeopardize anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people be like, oh man, we can have 25 people. I worked in the health field. Like, you know what? Stay home, spend some time with your family.
Exactly.
And it's all be ready. But the meditation, you know, like your stuff, the more and more you meditate, the more and more different things are going to come into your head. Make sure you have a pen and paper by your bed. Write stuff down before you go to bed or what you're going to do the next day. Or in the middle of the night, you might get up and be like, you know what? This is something good to talk about. And write it down. Got
you. Now, I want to talk a little bit about how meditation is good for hearing that inner voice. But I also want to start stressing to people that meditation is therapeutically necessary for the Black community. So many of us have lost our sense of reality. We lost our sense of self-control. We can't regulate our emotions. Let's talk a little bit about how meditation is something that Black folks need now.
Oh, yeah, because, again, Christianity ain't working. It hasn't been working, you know? and now, if we look at our kids now, you know, now they're not in school. No one's making light of that this is when Black kids die. They die in July and they die in September. You know, when school gets out and when we go back to school, now they're running around doing nothing, but who's teaching them stillness? See what I'm saying? Money in it for excuse me. Somebody was saying, hey, come down to this community center and come chill for nothing. They would go, but there's none of that. And a lot of us, we know that there's no federal funding in it. Now you're going to see people start helping. Because now Joe Biden's throwing money at the problem, you know, but we didn't take it upon ourselves to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like 17-year-old kids are carjacking. You know, right now at 17, I would be running the street too if I wasn't at school playing football, wrestling, or basketball. You see what I'm saying? And then when they cut those sports off, these kids should have another outlet. We can't believe like now there's no football season. Our Black kids have nothing to do. I was a Black kid that played football, but I was drawing pictures like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So. Oh wait, my headphones died.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So that's how I feel with that stuff, man. Like it's disheartening, but as us as men of color, as men, we just got to lead better examples because our kids aren't listening, but they're watching. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us are like, I can't believe my son would do that. Nigga, your son just like you. You understand what I'm saying? Your daughter just like you. Yeah. So it's we have to and I could say this, like I offered to do Reiki at the libraries in New Haven, and I'm gonna tell you how weird it is, and it's a black female that was like, oh, that's great, come on in, give me all the paperwork, and I get sent all my qualifications and credentials, everything. What happened to it? Nothing. So I said, I'm still gonna do it. So I went to the other side of town and to the other library, and that guy happened to be white. You know what he said? Absolutely. Help me out any way possible. And then there was like 16 people in the class that just came out of, nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So again, the help could come from anywhere if it's real. You know what I mean? But for us, if there's nothing in it for us, we're not gonna help us.
Right.
And that's a bad thing. And that's become an American thing. You see what I'm saying? So we could be like, oh, $1 million. The niggas have done the same shit too, even worse.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
and
okay,
I'm sorry.
No,
I was gonna say that it's unfortunate too, because you were talking about how like everything is going virtual now, and I was trying to be on top of it, like from when everything started shutting down from Corona, and I was offering to do stuff for free. I was calling schools like, hey, if you need a mindfulness program, hey, I got some guided meditations you can use for the kids, and I was like, I'll give it to you for free. You don't even worry about it, and still couldn't get nowhere. I'm offering it for free, like just take it. But
I did the same thing.
Yep,
same thing. And remember, you and I was talking about it, even when I was, you and I were doing it. I put it out there every week. No one's coming. And then it's like, black men don't. And I'm at the point, man, shut up. That's where I'm at. Shut up. You the man of the fucking house. See, now when you say, no, I used to control shit. See, this is where after I try to be nice first time. Now it's like, you know what? You the man in the house. Second of all, we black men came here as fucking slaves. All those people that died on the boats or got whooped and beaten and had to work with bad backs and y'all complaining about now, this is the best time ever for black people. Y'all better take advantage of that shit. You understand what I'm saying? And we have, and right now what you witness is that we seen white people that's ready to die for us. They're all talking about civil war. The last civil war was between white people anyway. Yeah. I'm not being disrespectful, but what happened to us? We were free. See ya. Go to New York. What's happening now? Now we have to show that we are better. Show that we're out there meditating and just, or teaching these classes, but they're going to come look in your background to make sure you're true to what you're doing. I've had my investigations. I'm starting the art business. You're like, oh, so why do you go to Miami? See me? I grew up with hood niggas. So for them to ask that question, why would you think they would ask that question? Am I going to Miami to get cocaine and I'm auction off in my art truck? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what happens to the question they ask, because they don't believe what we're doing is sincere.
True.
That's why I think hustle. I don't use the word hustle. I don't use that. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm no con man. You see what I'm saying? It's a matter of saying, yo, we people of color, and even this to white folks, yo, express yourself any way you want to. You know what I'm saying? But we don't have to do the same stuff, and that's why a lot of people, they still trying to sell that JJ painting. That ain't making no money, bro. Now your house full of that stuff. Or else you see your aunt and be like, hey, auntie, I painted something. I don't sell my stuff to friends and family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's, and if we talking hustle, and let's say we were slaying things, who do we not sell to?
I also sell to everybody, really.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to sell to family, right? You're not supposed to, but I look at my art, my business as my, here's the word, hustle. You know what I'm saying? I have to put it out there, but I know I'm not going to do this and be like, hey, Devin, I just drew this picture of Bob Marley. You want it? I'm going to draw a picture. If you be like, yo, could I get that? I'm like, yeah, for a discount. You see what I'm saying? But we don't do that to each other, you know, but we'll do that for them other people, because I'm a boss in my own company. I know what people do because people tell me. You know, a lot of people will be, they'll do a lot of things and they won't tell you. Then they'll get online and be like, you know what, Black Power. Yeah, right.
Yep. Exactly. So let's get ready to close out. But before we go, what's the final word that you want to give to the Black community? What's something they need to take away from this? What's something they got to focus on so we can move forward in positivity and
what you got to focus on? You're a better man than what your coach told you were. A lot of us will run through walls and do anything for coach. He's like my dad. Most of our coaches probably are bigots anyway. But you have to be that man for yourself. You see what I'm saying? You're the man of the house. Don't forget that. You shouldn't be running to your wife. She shouldn't be the shoulder to cry on. You see what I'm saying? Unless your mama died. That's about it. Other than that, we have to stand firm to show our children what standing firm is. Because black men, as soon as shit get tough, what do? Fuck up. End up in jail. Throw it all away. And our kids are only gonna, like I said, they're gonna watch the same thing. My daughter ain't seeing that. What she's seeing is, damn, my father's actually busting his ass trying to start a company. He's serious about He's even got me involved to try to do some stuff. Like, see what I'm saying? And then you stick through it. But we have to lead an example for our children, not for the niggas we grew up with. You see what I'm saying? Or the people we grew up with. And I think we'll be fine because, again, if you went to college, if you're in good health, you'll be fine. You know? But trust yourself a little bit more.
All right, man. Well, thanks a lot for the conversation, my brother. I appreciate it,
man. No doubt, man. I feel honored, brother, and keep doing what you're doing. Trust me, I was watching. I just be watching when I'm working. I don't want to interrupt it and be like, you know. But you know, again, we're on something that no one's trying to do for free.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why it's special, because now you're gonna see a bunch of people gonna jump on here and be like, because they're getting funding and gonna copy your style. And you hear me? I post that. There's a lot of people watching you, hating on you, but they're gonna bite your shit.
Always, man. Always.
But let them.
Salute, peace, brother.
All right, my man. Take care, brother.
Peace.
All right, peace.
Yeah.